I can do it too.
I knew we wouldn't have
And I'm
all.
recording it to my computer too, just as a backup. So
Oh, thank you.
cool. Yeah. So yeah, just let me know when you want me to admit people and I'll let them on in.
When do you usually do it? Do you do it at the 5-minute mark?
About now.
About now.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, about now. We can people will be coming in. So all right. 1, 3, 2, 1. Hey everyone.
Hello, everyone.
Hello.
So good
Hey,
to
it's good
be
to see
with
everyone.
you.
Oh, got a few
And
more. The
let's,
waiting.
okay,
There we go. Okay. Waiting room is disabled. So people will be just coming in now.
awesome. Awesome. Well, let's go ahead and let's see if our chat is working. Everyone can drop in the chat what state or what part of the world are you joining us from?
I'm Sandra Adler, and I'm in Seminole, Florida.
Awesome.
Hey.
So good to be with you. And then we got Katie from Ireland and Texas, Leanne from California, and Arkansas. Jody's from Arkansas, Ohio. So exciting to have you all here. Okay, so if everyone would mute their mic, and we will be using the chat during our time together. So it's good that we did a little practice now with it. Awesome. Can everyone hear me okay? Perfect. Well, thumbs up. Awesome. Sweet. Well, I will let Katie take it away with our introduction. And
Yeah.
awesome. Thank you, Kyla. And then yeah. Katie, I throw you the proverbial microphone.
Yes. Okay. Hey. So hi, everyone. It's good to see you all. I'm Katie Valentine. I am not the superstar here. That is going to be Meg, who's going to be delivering this amazing training. And so I am here as her cheerleader, and I invited many of you to this training. So welcome if you were here with my invitation. Welcome to everyone, no matter how you got here. And so I'm just so excited because I know that books and writing are a major way to get messages out there to the world. And I know that I have sat in front of my screen looking blankly at it many times thinking, what do I write now? How do I do this? This is really challenging. Megan's here to make it easy. So I'm excited to be attending the training just with everyone to get my divine ideas down there on paper as well. So I met Meg several years ago. We were kind of running around in some of the same circles on Facebook. And then when we connected, I feel like we've been making magic ever since then. So you're all in for a special treat. And I had the really special experience of working with Meg. Meg was in one of my programs, and I was with her right at that point where she said, maybe I can go full time being a writing coach. And here we are, and she's more than full time. So you really are, she's the real deal. She's been doing this and doing it well for a long time. So Meg Calvin is an Amazon bestselling author. She's a wife, she's a mom, master air guitar player. So we would like to see some evidence of that. A speaker and a coach, and she helps spiritually attuned go-getters like you write, market, and sell their bestsellers. And she's super intuitive. She has unconventional practices. She's super woo. She will help you unlock all your creative powers. And she's here to help us find our divine idea. I'll be your tech person throughout. So if you need anything, put it in the chat and I will respond as best I can. And I'm going to mute myself so we can get to our divine ideas.
Splendid. Thank you, Katie. Awesome. And just so everyone knows, our chat bar is at the bottom of your screen. There's Zoom toolbar next to the green. Maybe you may not have a share screen, but it says chat and it's over on the bottom left and it has a number 2 because 2 people are already talking. So I want to make sure everyone can see the chat bar to drop. There'll be times I'll ask you to share a comment and answer a question. Someone else just joined. So fun. and as Katie said, talk to her as your tech guide. How to find your divine idea. Divine book idea. Haha. I first want to start off by saying that you are amazing for being here today or tonight, whatever part of the world you're in, today or tonight. There were tons of other places you could have been right now, and instead you made a conscious choice to choose to commit to serving others with the rich book idea on your heart. And I honor you for that. You matter. Your needs matter, your ideas matter, and your goals matter. And Katie's already introduced me. This is who I am, Meg Calvin. Burp, burp, burp. Along with that, I'm other things too, as Katie also along with a writing and marketing coach, I'm also a giant sack of intuition and emotion, easy laugh, a daughter, a friend, a sister, a wife, a mom, a bedtime story reader, improv actor, master laundry folder, sultry alto, master air guitar player, medium rare steak loving, body of water jumping human. That is me. And as Katie alluded to, our paths crossed in 2019. I heard her, she said social media and podcasting. I couldn't get enough of the space that she held for spiritually attuned people like ourselves that wanted to grow in our awareness of the metaphysical side of life with a Christian background. And Katie is phenomenal at helping. I would not have a business without Katie. So I wanted to plug her. If you are sitting here thinking, I would like, in my ideal world, I would have my book birth my business. Katie is your coach. And so I can't say that enough. Okay, so enough about Katie and I. I could talk about us forever, but enough about us. Let's talk about you. By the end of our time together, you will have clarity around which of your book ideas desires to be released from you first. Notice the language there. I didn't say which one you should write. I said which book idea desires to be released first. So many ideas. Which one to chase first? This is very common for creatives, and this is going to sound familiar to the email, and that's on purpose because I want it to sink into our brains and our hearts. That's common for creatives who don't want to be tied down. They want to stay free and to follow as their art calls and lots of ideas. So be encouraged, as you probably saw on social media and the emails. If you feel sometimes that you have too many ideas, it's a beautiful thing. Most of us that are wired to be entrepreneurs, we do think incessantly. There's no off button in our minds. They are incessantly curious, opportunistic, and optimistic. They train their minds to problem solve every issue that crosses their path. Every problem they meet is a potential resource. In every problem they encounter, they seek a solution, and in every change, they look for the new opportunity. They look for the new opportunity potential. That doesn't sound right, but we'll leave it. Stephen Baskerville, Forbes.com. And so I want to make that clear. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. I want to set this up that it's an amazing thing to have lots of ideas. That means sometimes we get hard on ourselves for overthinking things like, oh, I worry too much, I'm over analytical. But that means you have so many thoughts. So we honor your beautiful mind. And at the same time, there could also be a deeper issue at play here. If you find yourself saying, I can't commit to a book. I have too many ideas. I don't know which one to chase first because they all seem right. This could be a limiting belief. This is potentially a story that is only holding you back from expanding into your potential. This is potentially a story you are telling yourself to keep yourself safe from failing. So, before we move any further, let's ask ourselves the question, am I afraid of committing to one book idea because committing could lead to failing? Taking what you get, taking what comes up. I am reminded of when I met my husband 14 years ago. We were in a martial arts class, Hapkido, which is all about using the momentum of your opponent's throws and kicks and hits, using the opponent's momentum in your favor. And some of the coolest moves in Hapkido happen after you've fallen. They happen when you're on the ground. There are certain moves that you're taught to do once you're on the ground. Why do I say this? I say this because failing is inevitable, no matter what it is that you are creating and learning. Some of the best things happen on the mat of life when we are struggling and grappling and learning and failing. Failure is inevitable and necessary for growth. And the sooner that you start failing, the sooner you will start growing and succeeding. So today, I'd like to invite you, before we go any further, into these clarifying 5 questions that are going to guide you toward realizing what book wants to be released first. Checking in with yourself. If you were to think of yourself as a car, who's in the driver's seat? Is it fear? Is it fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of hurting your mom's feelings when she reads the book? Is fear driving your decisions about your book? If it is, we'll kindly say to fear, "Fear, I see you. Thank you. You're trying to keep me safe. And in many cases in my life, you have kept me very safe. Thank you, fear. But now for my book goal, I'm going to put you in the back seat in a Kansas State approved car seat for your weight and your height. I'm going to put you back there, and I'm going to be the soul in control that's going to buckle up in the front seat, turn on my Spotify playlist, and I'm in the driver's seat as a soul in control. Fear, you can come on the journey with me, but you're going to be in the back seat. I'm going to drive." And we just acknowledge, we don't beat ourselves up for having fear. We acknowledge that fear is with us. It's keeping us safe. We appreciate you, fear. Thank you. I love you. I see you. Thank you. But I'm the soul in control that's driving. I'm the soul in control that's going to make this decision about becoming an author, about serving people with my beautiful book. It is scary, and owning your fear so it does not own you can help you to focus when it comes to choosing an idea. There's great power that comes in focus. As we all know what happens with the magnifying glass and the rays of sunshine, that once we have a focused rays, they burn a hole into the sheet of paper, as we can see. So there's great power in you simply being here tonight and committing to focusing all that good spiritual, emotional energy, mental energy on one idea. So the following steps in this experience won't do any good unless we commit to keeping our fear in check and committing to choosing one book idea to focus on first. So I'd invite you in your own house right now, and we won't turn our mics on. It'll be between you and whoever can hear you in your home. I'd invite you to repeat after me if this feels in alignment for you. You might hear what I'm about to say and think, "Meg, I'm not ready to agree to that." And that is okay. That is okay. But if it does feel in alignment, please repeat after me. I commit to taking fear on the journey with me. In the journey with me in the back seat, instead of the driver's seat. And then I bravely commit to being open and trusting to whichever one of my book ideas desires to be released first. Last slide. I commit to taking action steps towards serving others with that book this year. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you so much. Now we are ready. But wait, there's more. Before we move on to the 5 powerful questions that will guide you toward receiving which book idea wants to be released first, there are 3 obstacles that are keeping most people from writing their book. Listen closely and let me know in the chat if you relate to any of these, possibly. It serves us well to surrender to it if it feels true. After serving 43 clients, it's very common for one to say, I've noticed in myself and in other authors, I've got too many book ideas. I've got too many book ideas. I don't know, I've got too many book ideas. But what's really going on is one of the following three. Number one, and you can put in the chat 1, 2, or 3, whichever, or all. Number one, in reality, what we think are different book ideas are actually the same book. I was invited in 2016 to do a writing contest, and I thought, what would I write about? And then I jotted down 12 ideas. I'm so glad I kept this note in my memory box. I jotted down 12 ideas of things I thought I could write about in this writing competition. And all of this was covered in my first 2 books. And this writing competition was October, and in by August of 2017, my first book was picked up and published. And so these are 14 ideas that I was able to cover in 2 books. And I see it all the time in authors, that they have what they think is multiple ideas, but it's really 1 or 2 books, or sometimes it's just the same book. So we surrender, we open ourselves to that possibility. Number 2, a problem I see all the time in authors and in myself is the tension, too many ideas, is within you because your book ideas, they desire to be released in a sequential order of their choosing. Now, you might have noticed my language tonight. What I'm implying is the belief that I hold that the divine moves through you as a divine co-creator, and of course, God, source, universe, whatever label we want to use. And then I'll have the belief that there's a third party involved, and that is how the divine moves uniquely through the book idea that's chosen you. And the book in you has a lot of opinions. They all do. And so there's a chance that the order that you want to write your books is out of alignment with your book's desires within you. Allow me to explain. This is a client of mine. And when we first met together, she talked about doing a handbook, Dump the Drama. She's a relationship coach, and she said on the exploration call and in our first 2 Zooms, we mapped out this relationship handbook. It didn't have this title yet. And then she just could not get over writer's block. And we sat with it some, and she said, I can't write this book yet. I said, why is that? She goes, I need to collapse my grief for my late husband before I write this book. I said, okay. So what we thought we were writing first was Dump the Drama. Really, the first book that wanted to come out first for her own maturity as a person, as a writer, was in fact her own memoir. And so the plan, she worked with me 2 different occasions. What ended up happening was this Kissing with Eyes Wide Open came out first, and almost a year later, then Dump the Drama came out. And so memoir first, and then transformational nonfiction. And so she was feeling this tension. And we opened ourselves up to, we're at an impasse with the book idea within you. They want to be released in a certain order. And so we surrendered to that possibility too. Number 3, you are struggling to decide which book will be the first to be released from you because there's a book idea that you feel like you should write. And then there's a book idea that, I got chills when I thought about it. I want to write this book. I had another client here who has spent 30 years working with children and families in the nonprofit world, has done doctoral work like Katie on that subject matter. And she thought, I want to write a book. And so we connected, and she had this idea for family rituals in the home for Christian spiritual disciplines. And then she had another idea for volunteerism in the church. And because she's an authority on the matter, she works for her denomination, she works for her local church, she teaches at university, she's done doctoral work, she's an authority. Shouldn't she write on children and family ministry? And then come to find out on her computer were these beautiful essays for teenagers or older disciples that were the inner monologues of lesser known disciples. And when she talked about it, passion just jumped off the screen. And that was what she wanted to work on, what she wanted to publish. And so she did. She works with children and family, but this book is not for children. It's for teenagers and adults. And her next book is going to be a novel, a romance novel, not for children. Even though that's what she felt like she should write on, it's not what she wanted to write on. It wasn't what brought her pleasure and joy. And we'll get to those questions will help later. So again, come back to this amazing quote you probably heard before, Howard Thurman, great theologian and scholar. Don't ask yourself what the world needs. Ask yourself what makes you come alive, what makes you smile and get chills on your arms and tingles in your ears, and then go and do that, because what the world needs is more people who come alive. So let us know in the chat, which number of these obstacles can you relate to, if any? Number one, different ideas might actually all be in one book. Number two, your ideas desire to be released from you in an intentional sequential order. And the book hasn't done a good job at telling you that yet, but you feel the tension. Number three, you feel torn between the book you feel you should write and the one that you want to write. And I'm sure when I say the word should, I'm sure you can feel where that pressure is coming from. Is it because of your position and title? Is it because of your religious upbringing? Is it because of your parents? Is it because of your kids? I know when I said the word should, you knew who in your life I was referring to that might be putting that pressure on you, or whatever external factor might be putting that pressure on you. Awesome job. So now, if, goodness gracious, nope, you can do it screen. I know not all of us have printers. And so if you did not have time or don't have a printer to print this action sheet out, that is okay. What I'd like you to do is, on a scratch piece of paper, we're going to make, I think I did 6 by 6, 1, 2, however many book ideas you have. On the far left column, you're going to do your, I'd like you now to write in your, however you are naming, denoting, calling, referring to your book ideas. And let's put those in that far left column going down. You can just trace this, this graph. If you haven't printed it yet, I will be quiet. I'm going to watch my timer, and I'm going to give us a minute to do this. Okay, we'll take 10 more seconds. And then I'm noticing in the chat, Kyla related to 1, 3 and 2 for Paula, Jody 1, 3. I'm suspicious about number 3. I love that. Okay. Nice. Prepare thyself, friend. I will now invite you to deeply be with and consider the following 5 questions regarding your book ideas. Question number 1. Think of 2 other books, and I will show you, there will be slides later that shows a shorter version of the question. So if you want to reword this for your own retention on your sheet, feel free. But I will have a slide later that says a shorter version of the question. Number one, I invite you to think of 2 other books that you have read and utterly loved. They rocked your world in the best way possible. You could not get enough. You read these books and you thought, oh my gosh, what have these authors done to me? This was a transformational experience. I have never experienced any book like this. Whether it was the book shape, the style, the subject matter, you adored the experience that it offered you. Might have heard the phrase, if you spot it, you got it. And while that sometimes can mean if someone's annoying us with a vice, we could possibly struggle with that vice too. I think what it also means is if you spot an admirable trait in someone, it's because you have that same trait within you. And I believe the same is true for our books. If you spot it, you got it. Chances are you adored those 2 books, because if those 2 books, hang with me here, we get weird, but it all makes sense in the end. Chances are you adored those 2 books because if those 2 books were to conceive a book baby, it would be the book that wants to be released from you first. And remember, I could be talking about style, format, the voice, or subject matter. Allow me to explain. Before my second book came to me, which is a satirical theological self-help book, before my second book came to me, there were 2 books that blew my mind. And there are these books here. A memoir, Tina Fey, Bossy Pants, and then way back when, 2003, 2004, Blue Like Jazz. And it was theological, it was satirical, it was dry, felt like stand-up on some pages. And before my title of my second book even came to me, before I even knew what I was going to talk about, I remember feeling, I wanted to feel like Blue Like Jazz and Bossy Pants came together. And another example, and then what's beautiful is once your book idea within you hears you say, I see you, I love you, I'm listening, I'm here, I'm listening to you, it's just going to turn up the volume more and more and more. So as soon as I spoke this, the floodgates opened and more clarity came. Another example with a client that I already mentioned, Dana wanted to collapse, this client wanted to collapse time in her grief for her own healing journey after losing her husband. And she was like, it's okay. So now we know it's not going to be a handbook on relationships. And she was like, what is this? And then in a coaching call, she shared that one book that changed everything for her marriage was A Severe Mercy, right here by Sheldon Vanauken. Feel free to put in the chat if I butchered that last name. And then this love story of a memoir of their love story that had the wit and this, I know she's in Oklahoma and Dana's in Kansas, but this Midwestern love story feel, but also the theology of severe mercy. And there's something much bigger going on in Kissing with Eyes Wide Open than just the romance. And so we held these 2 books and we're like, okay, where we're headed is we want Kissing with Eyes Wide Open to feel like A Severe Mercy conceived a book baby with black heels and tractor wheels. Now, what I'm telling you to do is to steal like an artist, is to notice when you're reading other books, what grabs your attention, what makes you think, oh, that's new, or how'd that author do that? And as Austin Kleon says in his book, you steal like an artist and you borrow and you hold these 2 books together as you dream and release and listen to your first book. So on your action sheet, knowing you guys, because you're on this call, you're probably a very self-driven, intelligent person who's already gone ahead. And so on Q1, write which book feels like a book baby. And then go down the list, putting check marks next to the book ideas you have that apply. Awesome. Question number 2. Which book idea has had some major God moments or synchronicities around it in your life? Allow me to explain. A God moment, as I define it, is when the exact right when the exact right person or opportunity comes your way that shows that the Holy Spirit is ahead of you in bringing this idea to life because it's a God-breathed idea. Or another way to say that, to be inclusive in our language, is sometimes the book idea that wants to be released first lets us know what it wants to be, by filling our life with synchronicities. What is a synchronicity? This great quote by Evelyn Lim: "The universe reveals itself through synchronicity. It orchestrates the events, people, and environment and lining them up so that you are exactly where you need to be." Synchronicity takes place like a vibrational beacon that transmits a divine message or coded sign back to you, indicating that you are in alignment or on the right path. Some might even say you getting the email from Katie or me about this training is a synchronicity that your readers are hungry for your book and it's time to write it. One client of mine and another student of Katie's, Lara, worked in rescuing cats for over 25 years. And she'd always loved to write, but in her career, other shelters began to ask her for advice. And she noticed that volunteers really needed to be better trained. So around the same time she was thinking about, would anyone even be interested in my book? She began to have people, without knowing she was thinking that, coming up and asking for her wisdom on the exact same subject matter that she was thinking about writing the book. So that is a form of a synchronicity. It doesn't need to be an ancestor in a dream telling you to write the book, although it has been, and it most certainly can be, but it can simply be the beautiful synchronicity or the beautiful God moment of someone asking for your help on the exact subject matter that you were seriously just thinking about writing a book about that week, which is exactly what happened to Lara. So on your sheet at Q2, write which book has had some synchronicities around it. Or if you just want to do shorthand and do the word synchronicities, that is fine too. And do know that if I am going too fast, because I have been known to do that you can watch the replay at your own pace and pause it and journal and fill things out. I have a feeling the space that you are opening up tonight within your heart and brain and within yourself, that more is going to come up and out tonight as you dream, and tomorrow and the days that follow. And you can come back to this sheet and you can email Katie, or you can email me. Okay. We will move on to question 3. Which book idea aligns with your greatest area of holy discontent? I feel the need to say, in this season of your life. This is not my wordage. This is from the pastor, Bill Hybels, who I felt a need to put here, is not a client of mine. Because the other books have all been clients. Bill is not a client of mine. So what's something occurring in the world right now that pisses you off? Pardon my French. I put an asterisk there. What grinds your gears? What breaks your heart? What makes you lose your cool in conversations? Or, depending on how you're wired, What makes you politely exit a conversation and then vent to your spouse later about it while brushing your teeth? Like, what just makes you lose all respect for a person's intelligence when they say this? Like, what is that holy discontent? In this book, Holy Discontent by Bill Hybels, he teaches how it is where we are the most ticked off that God is calling us to serve. And God is calling us to make a difference and use our gifts in that area. And sometimes we think, oh, doesn't everybody get pissed off at this subject? The answer is no, they don't, but you do. God's calling you to do something about it. The divine is leading you to do something about it. One client of mine, he was a pastor and he was getting so frustrated at certain members of the Christian faith that were preaching and protesting about pro-life. I know that's a heated issue and I'm okay with going there. He was so angry that of their cognitive dissonance that they were pro-life for when it came to going against women who wanted therapeutic terminations, that they were pro-life, but when it came to helping those that were addicted to opioids and overdosed, and they wanted to use Narcan or naloxone, I'm saying that right, that an immediate shot that would bring them back to life once they overdosed. So many Christians in his circle were against that. And they would say things like, why would we give them drugs if they're already on drugs? And he didn't see in his faith community compassion for those addicted to opioids, because his studies had pointed to a lot of people he had pastored and worked with who were addicted to opioids had unhealed childhood traumas. And so if anyone was worthy of church's grace and compassion, would it not be them? And so he grinded his gears, just ticked him off, it pissed him off, made him so angry. And so he wrote this book and helped local churches build support groups and programs that served people that were addicted to opioids and their family members. And that wouldn't have come if he hadn't listened to what pisses him off. I had another client who noticed that in the spiritual world and the woo-woo world and the self-help industry, there was lots of spiritual bypassing happening. And what she referred to that as was there were some influencers that were ignoring emotions that were denser, like sadness, depression, grief, anger, like these dense emotions. And they would there's no need for those emotions. It's all meant to be. There's no need for those emotions. But she wanted to go there. And so she went there. And this book, Good Things Happen in the Dark. And she said, I'm just so sick of spiritually bypassing. And that anger, that holy discontent led to this beautiful, rich, equipping, helpful, witty book. So think about lately, what topic really pisses you off, grinds your gears, like problem in the world that keeps you up at night. It makes you leave a party early because your friends started talking about it and you're like, why am I still friends with her? Like, what is that topic? And then on Q3 column, put check marks on the books that align with in this season of life, your greatest area of holy discontent. Like you really want to do something about it. I love that you said, Paula, that wholly content sitting with that question led to two more ideas. So good. Your readers are in for such a treat. Awesome. Okay. Question number 4, monitoring our time. What idea am I working on or brainstorming about? And if you haven't started your book, if you haven't done anything with a book except think about it, which is huge, by the way, that's a huge step. The question will read, what topic or field of study when I'm working on, am I working on when I lose all sense of time, when I enter a state of flow? Meet your thalamus. This is your beautiful brain. And where the arrow is pointing is the bottleneck that all conscious stuff must travel through in your brain. And something super amazing happens when we get in the zone or get in a state of flow. And it's not only something we can feel, the bodily sensation, something neurologically amazing is happening. And so this is, I took this out of my second book because it says it so much better than I could just remember to say it. And that is, there are conscious and subconscious tasks going on within our brains all of the time. All of the conscious stuff has to go through a bottleneck called the thalamus, who we met earlier. Yep, any sound, sight, thought, sensation goes through the thalamus. Each of these is known as a bit, and the limit of the capacity of the thalamus is 126 bits per second. This is why your kid talking to you while you're ordering at Sonic is beyond annoying, or why you turn the radio down when you're trying to find someone's house. And Now, what happens when we are carrying out a task that's in line with our passions and talents, and I would add to that in align with what the divine is calling us to do, what God is calling us to do. We are in a flow state or in the zone, is the opposite of the sensory overload that is ordering a wacky pack with a wailing wacky toddler in the back seat. As brain surgeon Dr. Hamilton explains, as a challenge calls on more of our rewarding skills, we bring a greater focus on it. More and more sensory information is pulled into performing the task, and less conscious processing is available for other things. I'm going to read that sentence again. More and more sensory information is pulled into performing the task, and less conscious processing is available for other things. Thanks to the bottleneck, thalamus, we lose awareness of what is going on around us, of how time is moving, and even of our own thought processes. The task literally pulls so much current, so much sensory juice that we lose our self-awareness and we become the task. We may refer to this state of mind as being in the zone, but what we actually are alluding to is that our skills, our motor abilities, all are deferred to subconscious control. Did I just blow your mind? I mean, your thalamus. So we become the task when it's the right amount of reward and passion and talents all in one task, one project. So think about what book idea or topic, when you're thinking about it, when you're brainstorming, maybe you've done a sermon over that topic, or you've done a workshop over that topic. Which topic, when you're working on it, you lose all track of time and you enter a state of flow, and put check marks on the book ideas where that applies. This just came to me, and I'm going to go back to some slides. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Let me go back to some slides. This might serve someone. Yes. If there's a chance, there might be a chance that on Q3, on question 3, yeah, which book idea aligns with your greatest area of holy discontent? There might be, it might land better with you to think, what's a question that you feel no one is asking? And I know for my second book, when it came to me, I was a minister working with children and families, and my first book was in line with that work. But the second book, the question that came to me that led to the second book was, why do so many Christians think ambition is a dirty word? Like, why is that? Why are, to be crass, another question that led to the book was, why are ministers lazy? Like, can we not have him? And so it was more this, like, why isn't more people asking this question? And so if you came to Q3 and you're like, I don't have anything that pisses me off, like I don't, it might be more of a question that's presenting itself. Like, why is no one asking this question? And so I don't know why, but I felt the need to go back and say that. We'll progress onward now. Okay. Watching our clock closely, but we're not going to rush these last 8 minutes together. I'd invite you with me now to close your eyes. You are safe. You are loved. Right where you need to be. I'd invite you to feel, if your feet are on the ground, wherever your feet are, notice your big toe, the bottom of it, and breathe into that space. Fill that big toe up with air. And breathe out. And now come up to behind your knees, whatever that body part is called, knee pit. And we're going to breathe into the knee pit, and we're going to fill that space up with air, breathing in. Breathing out. And now noticing your bottom, your rump on the chair or the bed, wherever it is that you're sitting, your strong thighs, beautiful hips that have carried you through life, taking you on so many adventures. And let's notice where the chair meets our bottom. And let's breathe into that space. A big breath in. Big breath out. Now coming up to our shoulders, we're going to roll our shoulders back 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And I'd like to invite you to imagine fairies dancing on your shoulders. And I know you can hang with fairies because you're a friend of Katie's and a friend of mine. So imagine fairies, little feet dancing on your shoulders, and breathe into that space where their feet meet your shoulders. One more breath in. with your eyes still closed, I want you to imagine your book signing event. Your book's been out for a while. People have bought it. Now they have come for you to sign their copies. You're sitting on the other side of the table. You got your pen ready, your favorite pen. Someone hands you a book and you see that it's dog-eared. There's bookmark post-it notes all over it. The cover's kind of wonky because it's been bent as they've carried it everywhere with them. They plop the book down in front of you and they say, "Thank you so much, Paula, Sandra, Mary, Katie, whatever your first name is. Thank you so much. Your book really helped me with." They almost have a tear in their eye. They're covered in chills. They're like, "I didn't know this kind of book was out there, and it came to me just when I needed it. I can't thank you enough." Taking what you get, how did you complete that sentence? What came up to you, up for you? Thank you for helping me with. Let's take one big breath in, breathing out. And when you're ready, come back to Zoom screen. Feel free to jot down what came up and out on your paper. As we are all connected and thoughts are energy, the book idea within you that wants to be released first is speaking up because the thoughts of others are so hungry to be served and helped by your book. The book idea is also within you to bring you the pleasure of releasing it, and equally as important, the book idea is there to serve others. The place God calls you to is the place where your deep gladness and the world's deep hunger meet. Friedrich Buchner. And I found this really pretty picture of Friedrich Buchner that I thought might make our nights a little better, so I posted it here. It's a very beautiful picture. Enough of pretty Buchner. Now back to you and your epic book idea that's going to serve readers. So whatever came up when you held space to complete that sentence, thank you, Tiffany, for helping. Your book helped me with blank. Is it more confidence? Is it healing from domestic violence? Is it meeting Mary Magdalene and who she really was and not as who I was told she was in Sunday school? Whatever that was that came up that you wished, that you hope to help readers with, mark the book ideas underneath that apply to that hope. And it might have surprised you when it came out. And if what came up and out doesn't make sense, but you heard it or you felt it, surrender to it and say, okay, I see you, and I'm open for you to tell me more in the days, weeks ahead. And I'm going to write this down. I'm going to hold these close to my heart, these words that came up in that space that I held with how my book is going to help others. All right. So to recap the 5 questions, I am watching the time. Which book idea feels like a book baby of 2 other books that you adore, that felt like home to you? Number 2, which idea has the most synchronicities with it so far? Whether that's you watching shows where the topic of that episode literally is one you thought about writing a book over, or someone has said, have you ever thought, I wish someone had a book about blank. And you're like, I've thought about writing a book about blank. I want to write a book about blank. It could be on your spiritual journey. You might use numerology, angel numbers. You might see repeating numbers. There might be certain songs that mean there are synchronicities to you. Your spirit guides might play a role. So what synchronicities have come up, to you around a book? Number 3, which idea is overflowing with your holy discontent? It aligns with that, knowing that not everyone gets bothered by that. It's a sign, if you're really bothered by that, that God is probably calling you to do something with it in your book. Number 4, which idea, when you work on it, gets you in a state of flow? And last question, when you still your mind and you sit in the possibility of connecting to readers and they say, thank you, Margaret, for helping me with what comes up for you in that, what aligns with your vision. And so now, probably know where this is going. There should be a book idea that has more check marks than others. And I, respecting our time, I would love to hear in the chat. And I'd love to hear in the chat if you want to type, if you feel open to typing, is there a book idea that does have more check marks than others? And so let's do, if there's just one that has the most, or maybe there's 2 that has the most check marks, just drop the, is that helpful to do the number? Yeah. I have 1 that has more. I have 2. I have 5, Meg. 5 books ideas. All of them have so many check marks. Okay, we'll talk. Ooh, one-on-one time. Yes, Naked Seeds, so good. Right, Kathleen, I hope I'm saying your name right. Kathleen and not Kathleen. Correct me if I'm wrong. Or you might go by Kathleen Ann. Cultivating a child's imagination,
Kathleen.
creativity. Kathleen? I'm so excited. 5 check marks. Awesome. Epic. And remember, whatever came up for you tonight was perfect and was meant to be. And surrender to what comes up and out over the next few days. Now that we've held this space for it tonight. Me and My Universe. Yes, Sandra. That's so good. Memoir. Awesome, Jody. Kyla, the one I had a dream about has the most. My other dreams could be combined into several books that involve a journey and adventures. Yes. So I am so thankful that you spoke of the synchronicity of dreams. That's very, very powerful. I totally relate to that in my creative process, the power of messages and dreams. I surrender. Thank you, Mary. But I'm lacking flow. Plan to jump back into the art. The Artist Way. Yes, an annual read of mine. So good. So good. Great next step, Tiffany. Awesome. Thank you all for staying a little late. I'm going to wrap up. So now that you have clarity on which potentially, or you're open to tonight, opening up the floodgates for more clarity to come now that we've been together, you might be wondering, now what? Thanks, Meg. This gave me some clarity, but what do I do with this book idea? So many people wonder, how long should each chapter be? And as you can tell right now, I'm wanting to stay on longer with you, but our agreement was an hour. So Katie and I are going to have to go. But at this point, I want you to know there are other ways that I could help you. A lot of writers wonder things like, how long should each chapter be in my transformational nonfiction or memoir? Do I have to change the names of people in my memoir? Which names? What's an attractive length of work for a nonfiction? Where do I find an editor? Should I work with a traditional publishing company or self-publish? Do all books need ISBN numbers? Where do I get one? Do I need to be on all social media platforms to market my book? Marketing is the worst, pardon that typo. Is there any way to make it fun so that readers actually read my book? And that is where I come in. And I currently have 3 coaching spots left. And I love to help writers write, market, and sell their Amazon best-selling books on Kindle, paperback, and Audible. And when I partner with you, I know we have some clients here tonight that know all this. When I partner with you, what we like to spend time working on is breaking through writer's block, establishing a routine of writing that fits with your personality and your life stage, tuning into and writing the book, because as we've established tonight, it's not just you writing the book. The book has a lot of opinions, and we want to tune into it. Then my team self-publishes the book. And so all developmental, structural, copy, line editing, formatting, cover design, copywriting, all the publishing needs. We take care of all the less sexy, fun part of being a wordsmith, so you don't have to worry about it. And then we help you market the book, make it fun and not slimy and manipulative and the worst. We make marketing fun for you. So if you feel called to write a book, I would love to hang out with you more than an hour. I'd love to work with you. And so if you want to hop on an exploration call with me, I skipped a slide. Burp, burp. Nope, I didn't. I did not skip a slide. If you are feeling, yeah, I want more than an hour with Meg. I want to talk to her some more. I want to talk to you some more too. And so here it is, megcalvin.com/coaching. And I make spots open in my week, every week, to talk with writers like you that have helpful transformational healing books within them. And they want direction and they want confidence and clarity. So book a call with me. Here are some of the wonderful clients I get to work with. It would be my honor to talk with you some more. And that is the last slide. Yes. Okay. Burp, 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 burp. We made it through 75 slides in an hour and 4 minutes. That's amazing. Sweet. Oh, thank you, Katie, for putting the link. Link is in the chat. Thank you. Okay, I do. Oh, you're so welcome, Jody. Mary, OMG, this was so packed and insightful and brought tears and ideas and finally a sense of how the readers will be helped by my telling the truth. My story is overwhelming. Yes, Mary, thank you. So thankful for you. Okay. Mary knows okay, you're making connections about children's books. Yes. I know we didn't schedule time for Q&A. But I love helping. So Kathleen, if you want to email me, I can connect you to a children's book illustrator. And thank you, Paula, you're so welcome. Awesome. And feel free to email me any questions that you have, friends, and I'll be happy to email you back. And yeah, because I know we advertise this as an hour. And oh yes, thank you, Katie. I want to hear your book titles now.
Meg, did you want me to email the other children's book illustrator? Or do you want to keep that in your arrangement?
Oh, yeah, no, that'd be great. That'd be great, Mary.
So email it or put it in here, or
let's
maybe
see.
Probably.
Kathleen, can you share your email in the chat for Mary? Or Mary, do you want to give me your? I can put your email in here for both of you.
Sure.
So
you want it in the chat?
Yeah, that works.
Oh, there, you've got it. You got mine.
Perfect.
Did I get that right? No, I got it. I'm crying, so I'm sort of like, with happiness, not with,
Yes, there was deep, deep
okay.
important things
There
we
we
set
go.
with tonight. So tears totally make sense. Perfect. So Kathleen, you'll have two illustrators coming your way from me and from Mary. Nice. And scrolling back up.
Kathleen, I think you were saying something, but you were muted.
Hi, where am I?
Hey.
Okay.
We can
I don't
hear you.
even know if I'm
It's good to
gonna
see you.
write, I don't even know if I'm gonna write a book, but I'm just, the A-type personality that I am is trying to get everything in order. So thank you for, and I do have one artist that's around my area that I'm gonna talk to too, but I would love to have other names too. So thank you so much. Appreciate all of it. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you, Katie.
It seems like you are going to write a book. You had like several ideas in the chat.
yes, yes.
Thank you.
This friend of mine who's produced quite a bit of art and children's books, you'll know when you see her. She's very open and easy to work with, so you don't need to feel like, you know, it'd be difficult if you just want to add one more to your list. She'd have a lot to share with you. So
Thank you, Mary. Appreciate
Yeah.
it. Thank you.
sure.
Well, it's so exciting in the chat to see the types of books that are already bubbling up. Memoir, creativity, something with children, me and my universe, cultivating a child's imagination. Yes, exciting. So needed. That's so wonderful. Awesome. We are officially 12 minutes over. So thank you, friends. And again, as I said, these types of moments are just the beginning. And maybe not the beginning, because the book's been writing itself before we came. But these types of moments, they open us up for, so I encourage you to be open to tonight when you go to sleep, and tomorrow morning, what else comes up and what other synchronicities come up, what people say to you, what songs you hear that encourage you toward your book. More clarity is coming, because tonight your book idea knows now that you see it and you love it and you trust it. And you're like, I'm in this with you. Guide me. I'm in this with you. And so tonight, thank you. I honor you for the ginormous commitment you made by being here. And email me. You have my email now. So email me anytime